Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we're looking at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 30th anniversary special. Now, I particularly like this cover because firstly on the front it's got sort of the villains from the TV show all sort of there. I'm not saying it's got every single villain on there, but it's got a hell of a lot on there, and Dark Spectre looming at the top, which looks beautiful. Now if they do a Virgin variant where they don't have the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers being chomped by Dark Spectre on there, I feel like this would just look sensational all the way around. And this is a wraparound cover because what it does on the back, it takes all the villains that have been introduced via comic form all the way through, with Lord Draken in the position of Zed. So it's a very, very beautiful design in my mind. So this is very thick, so I'm already bending it already. It's quite a thick book. It almost feels like a small graphic novel rather than just an anniversary issue. So it's got Ode to Ernie. I think that's how you pronounce that. So sorry, let me start again. It's got 6 individual stories by those that have written stories before, etc., as well as some that haven't perhaps written stories before. So I'll just quickly dust over this. So Ode to Ernie is written by Ryan Parrott. So Ryan Parrott's back. He's accompanied by an illustrator that I believe he's worked with quite a lot, Eleonora Carlini, who did a lot of the variants for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, in particular from 56 to, I'm going to say 100, the legacy covers, because they sort of call them Mighty Morphin and then Power Ranger. Ridiculous. Anyway, let's not get into that. And colors by Ryan Angulo, who's very familiar with. Then we got Wedding Vows, written by Melissa Flores, illustrated by Hendry. I'm not going to say Hendry's second name because I'm worried I'm going to say it wrong. I don't like saying names wrong. Then colored by Matt Herms. Then we got Alpha Directive, written by Matt Groom, illustrated by Marco Renna, colors by Sarah, and then assisted by Sharon. All the letters done by Ed Dukeshire, and this cover in particular is done by Dan Mora. And then we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reimagined. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out there. And this is written by Amy Jo Johnson and Matt Hotson. So I don't know how Amy's career is going, but she's Ryan. I don't know whether it's Matt guiding her or what that scenario is, but it'd be interesting to see that story. Then we got Francesco Reno, on the illustrations, and colors by Joanna. I'm not going to say Joanna's second name. And then we got Ranger Academy Office Hours, which is there's a new comic, Ranger Academy, starting in October, and that's written by Maria Ingrande Mora, illustrations by Joe. I'm going to say that wrong, so I'm not going to say your second name, Joe. We got colors by Sarah, and I'm not going to say that either. I'm sure I've said that name already. Yeah, we've had Sarah already. And then we got What Time Is It, written by Marco Red Scott, and illustrations by Daniel Bayliss. So let's get into the story. So sorry, we've already 4 minutes into it just on the introduction bit. So let's get into the stories. So Ernie is having a bad day. The toilets are backed up. Everybody's wanting smoothies, except they've run out of strawberries, berries, and anything that is used for that. Oh, and somebody's tokens were stolen on the machine. So he's trying to sort some things out, etc., when a monster blows through the door, and it's Power Rangers' finest monster. So he doesn't let that stop him, and throws a brick at him to distract him for a few minutes so the Power Rangers can blast him. And then the Rangers try to speak with Ernie and, you know, offer support. And they also mention the Angel Grove Relief Fund, which is probably a huge business in Angel Grove considering the amount of buildings that get destroyed. However, Ernie is planning on selling up. You know, he did this with all great intentions, but it is failing, not just because of the monsters. It's probably just very hard and difficult. However, the Rangers, without revealing their secret identities, reveal that they are in the juice bar quite often, etc., and that he shouldn't give up. Which he doesn't. He makes an enemy, and it's great. And he tells Trini and Billy very, very nicely that there may be a ranger here. And then we get this nice little bit here for Richard, who passed away many, many moons ago. May he rest in peace. So then we move on to our second story, and this monster who has, there was a bounty on Tommy's head, and he is using the Master Morpher to fight, etc. So our first scene goes back a few years where we see Catherine and Tommy break up, now to today where Tommy is late to his wedding, so Catherine knows exactly what's going on and where she's going. Then we see the reunion piece, which takes set after Reefside, and he's grown his hair again. In the comics, in the battle that's happening now, he is not faring so well. Then we see a glimpse to the future, where he has a child, etc. However, he is still helping out with Power Rangers, in this time, particular Adam, and he says, whenever he's needed, this stuff's still very important to him, even though there are many teams that don't have a Tommy in it. In the background, he's always willing to come out and help. So Catherine comes in, saves the day, and prevents Tommy from becoming shish kebab on their wedding day. And then we get this beautiful, beautiful moment at the end where Tommy says that Catherine is his best friend, and she's his balance, hero. And even though he's proud to be a Power Ranger, he's even more prouder to be her husband. And that is a very beautiful moment, because that relationship is probably very important to most of us. Some of us like the Kimberly-Tommy relationship. I like this relationship. One thing that I just realized looking back through some of the pages, just to get some pictures from the thumbnail, to be honest with you, I noticed that Jason's real brother, Eric, or David Truehard, to Tommy, is actually in this shot, which is, I think, really, really nice, considering what happened to both him and then obviously Jason David Frank last year. It's nice that they're both there, and these are moments, because he didn't appear after Zeo, or after a certain episode in Zeo, and that's when things probably started going downhill in his life, unfortunately. So I just thought I'd point it out. Okay, so Alpha's story. So Alpha, who was created on the planet of I can't say it. No, it's not coming to me. So King Lexian created Alpha, but one thing he did not do is give him a directive, because Alpha 1 had a directive and it went terribly wrong. So Alpha was given the free sort of will. So we get this process of leading up to Rita's escape, and we learn about Zordon's mission then was to view candidates that could face the force of evil, and he shares stories with Alpha, etc. on that. After King Alexian convinces Zordon to keep him, even though he feels that Zordon's that Alpha's time is wasted. So Alpha cooks some food and spends a little time with the Rangers, and then he gets to work, etc. And he enjoys doing his job. And Zordon says you can spend more time with the Rangers if you like. Enjoys his job. Then we get him creating Alpha 6. So Alpha 6 just turned out the blue, and we always thought that he was sent down, but actually it's Alpha 5 who creates him. And he's also shared certain data about the Rangers in the hope that his little brother would have the same sort of feelings for the Rangers, etc., in helping them achieve this. So they bring it in and they have a moment. It's a really nice moment, actually. I really do actually like this. And then obviously we know that on Eltar, we know what happens. Zordon gets captured, but we don't know what happens to Alpha. And Zordon tries to get Alpha to go, etc., you know. And Alpha says, I can be repaired. My memory banks can be sent into a new model. It's not the end for me. And he says, and you know, I've programmed my directive. He programs his directive. And Zordon says why they're being attacked. What is the purpose, etc. And his purpose was to make sure my friend never had to be alone. And that is beautiful. You got to remember, I mean, a lot of us have been watching Power Rangers since we're 10 years old. You know, that is it's fine. It's 30th anniversary. It's 30 years ago for a majority of us. I was 10 years old back then. And it gets me stuff like this because that relationship was real for us. We saw that relationship. We saw it progress, and then we never saw it end. We just saw Zordon in space captured. So we still don't actually know what happens to Alpha, to be fair. Right, let's move on anyway. So we got Amy Jo Johnson's story. And this is sort of different as well. So this begins 30 years ago, like all the others. Begins with 29 years ago, except this has a twist. So Rita and Vinster have the love potion earlier, and it forms this alliance between Rita and Zed at the beginning of season 2. Also, the Rangers are going to Switzerland. However, they said, we can all go. Come on, we could just teleport in and fight Rita and Zed. And who says Rita and Zed have to just attack Angel Grove? Let's be honest. It was always something that is bizarre to me. There was a whole world to be attacking. So Angel Grove to be the beachhead was always a bit bizarre. We also get, because of this, Catherine Hillard never came. Tommy and Kimberly got married. Rita and Zed got married as planned. And they all started to live their lives. And there was some good times together. This original team together. However, there were some extremely bad times. So Zordon and Alpha destroyed. And then they take the fight to them. We end this. And then that's how this Amy Jo Johnson story ends. This reimagined end. She's called Emma Phillips. She's this is 30 years on. So she's around probably the age of, 46, I guess. And then it says, to be continued in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, The Return. So there is going to be a series. I'm not sure whether that's a mini-series or what. I don't know. I haven't actually looked at any details. When I saw that Amy Jo was in this, I just thought, oh, maybe this was the comic she mentioned she was writing. But there is a bigger story here. And I'm actually quite intrigued with this different take on it. Because in reality, if Zach and the actors, Water, Austin and Twee hadn't decided that they were going to walk off because of disagreements, I think, with them being paid low, etc., and standing up for themselves, which is great. You know, that team would have been longer, and, you know, we would have had a different TV show. So this is actually great from that perspective. I actually really liked this few pages, and it was just a few pages, but I want more now. Okay, so the next part of the story was once again very interesting. So this is Ranger Academy office hours. So Ranger Academy is meant to be set, I believe, in the future. I've not actually read the free comic book there. I've had it in my drawer for months. Maybe try and do that next week. And we see Billy talking to his dad. However, he is hijacked by a mysterious guest, which I'm presuming is identified in that free comic book day that I haven't actually read. And he asks, he's out of this dimension, he's not from this time, and he asks Billy to speak to some of his students, etc. And Billy's about to take on some of his students, his own, in the day-to-day. And then he starts speaking to this young person called Cora, who I'm presuming is from this new series and perhaps maybe one of the lead characters, and starts talking about his experiences that helps her, they, it, I'm not entirely sure, on that part, with how his experiences helped him, etc., in terms of messing up. And you know, he got stuck in the dark dimension once, etc. One time he wore his Power Ranger costume under himself, and these are all things that comic Billy did, and these helped Cora, who has missed a couple of classes, feel strong enough to go out into the world and perhaps be a Blue Ranger, just like him, etc. So it's very interesting. It's like a counseling session in some ways, and a lot of fun. And then we got, what time is this? Now I was reading this, and bear in mind it's been a while since I've read some of those classic stories, but this felt like one of those classic stories with the Rangers. They're fighting putties, they're fighting Goldar, and then Goldar grows, etc. And then it's all about they couldn't do this on their own, because together they are unstoppable, etc. So and then we've got all these moments in Boom Studios comics where the Power Rangers morphed into action. So you've got all the illustrators there that made these beautiful moments happen. They just look absolutely stunning. You know, I'm pretty sure every time one of these popped up in my comment, I tried to capture it for my thumbnail because it does look absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There we go, all the way through. Don't be wrong, I'm not going to pretend to know which issues to do. And then they give you a sort of reading guide, which leading up to darkest hour. So it sort of starts here, etc. And I may just do a quick video, just a sort of reader's guide on this, and perhaps focus on each section just to sort of help new readers, because I think this is very useful if you've not read this before. And then we just got this sort of ending here. So the annual is what it is. The annual, it takes lots of little mini stories, and sometimes they spin off into other things, etc., or lead you to other places, etc. But they are usually what they are. They're standalone, etc. And in some ways they sort of contribute to the bigger Power Rangers universe. In some ways not so much. So you could just read this and be happy and not read any other Boom Studio comics if you wanted to. So I hope you like my video. If you do, please support my channel by subscribing. Really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Thank you to those that are already subscribed to my channel. Really appreciate that. Make sure you look after yourself. Very important these days. And as always, embrace the geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.